everybody, Lori here from Unique in the Creek, and today I'm going to put together this really cute elf wreath with this absolutely adorable sign. Dear Santa, define naughty. Really cute, right? So it's with this sign, we're going to have this wreath attachment. It's a 3-piece set. He's got cute ears. Okay, it's a plush. His legs, which they're a bit long. I probably will cut them down. We're going to be using this 10-yard by 10-inch border stripe mesh. We got some red stripe 2.5-inch ribbon. We got a really cute green and red. Throw some green in there to match them. 1.5-inch ribbon. We got zip ties. We got clothespins. We got wire nippers. We got cable mounts with a pipe cleaner. I'm not sure if I'm going to even need this. I'll probably just zip tie the sign on. And of course, we got the large Unique in the Creek board. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut 16 pieces of this mesh at 10 inches long. So my mat is 36 inches, so I'm going to cut at the 30, the 20, and the 10. So we're going to cut 16 10-inch pieces. Okay, once your mesh is cut, we are going to cut some of our ribbons. And we are going to cut 8 pieces of this fabulous red and white striped canvas ribbon. This is such a nice, good quality ribbon. And so we're going to cut 8 at 16 inches of this one, or 14 inches, sorry, 14 inches. And 14 inches of this one. Beautiful canvas ribbon as well. I am going to take out my measure buddy, pull my measure buddy out to 14 inches. And if you don't have a measure buddy, you can just use your cutting mat or even a fabric ruler. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Slide it off, and we're going to cut the ends. So we have 8 pieces, and we're going to do the same for the red and white striped. Pull it out to 14. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Cut the ends. And now I'm going to dovetail these ends. So I'll take a few. Now this is really thick ribbon, so you won't want to do too many at once. I think I got 3 here. Fold it in half lengthwise, like that. Cut from the fold to the corner. When you open it up, you have a nice V shape. Now I'm going to be using zip ties. However, you can easily use pipe cleaners. I'm a zip tie fanatic, so I like to use zip ties. I find it keeps it nice and tight and nothing to rust. So let's get started. I am going to be starting on row 1. We're going to make this wreath big. And the way I'm going to do it, I'm going to put all my mesh in first, and then I'm going to put my ribbons. I'm going to do this basically for the beginners. So until you get used to putting your mesh and ribbons in together, you can do it the way I'm going to show you, which is quite easy and it goes pretty fast. I'm going to use row 1. So the top of your board, there's 2 chamfered holes. There's a 1 and a 2. We're going to use row 1. We're going to use the hole to the outside of the board. Okay. We're going to take a piece of our mesh and just scrunch it up the middle. Put where you've pinched up the middle right on the board, and I'm going around with my zip tie, and I'm going to make sure that it's facing outwards because we want the appearance of a nice large wreath without using too much supplies. I'll do the next one. You can also do a kerfuffle if you want, which is a curl up and the factory edges on the left and right side of you. Fold it bottom to the middle, fold the top just a little over the bottom, scrunch it up the middle, flip it over, put it right on the board, and zip tie around it. I think I like this one the best. The kerfuffle is my favorite fold because you don't see any of the you don't see the cut edges, which is what causes frays and strings. So we're going to do this all the way around row 1. Okay, we got our outside row ready to go. Snip off these zip tie tails. You're going to take your nippers or your zip tie gun or your wire cutters or your dull scissors, don't use your sharp ones, and cut right down at the head. Just cut off all these zip tie tails. Alrighty, so now I'm going to go, sounds funny, but I'm going to go back over each zip tie and go in with just one tail, and I'm going to alternate. Now this is where I said at the beginning, if you're experienced, you can do the ruffle and the ribbon at the same time with using only one zip tie, but this works as well. So you just, there we go. And it actually lays really nicely when it's done over top like this. So we're going to alternate. So I'm just folding it in half. Now you can use the green and red in one and skip one. Actually, that looks really nice. No, I'm just going to continue. But you can do the green and red, the red and white stripe with the green and red in the same zip tie, skip the next one, do double ribbon, skip the next one, do a double ribbon. Or you can do it like I'm going to do it, do with just one ribbon in each zip tie. Now, if you do the double one, you'll use less zip ties as well, and it won't take you as long. But it doesn't take long to begin with, so I like that look. It's not too busy, and you can see both ribbons, right? When you pay good money for ribbons, you want to see them. Fold it in half, open it up, pinch it where the fold is. I flip it up. Make sure each tail is about the same length. Put where you pinch, just right over top here, and go around with the zip tie. It's pretty easy. Now, if you were using pipe cleaners, you wouldn't untwist your pipe cleaner where you've twisted in your mesh. You would just twist in the ribbon right on top. And then the border stripe makes a nice background. So we're going to just continue along here. All right, so once you're done row one, it's looking pretty spiffy, really pretty. We are going to skip row two, okay? Totally skip row two. We're going to go to row three, and you'll see it marked on the board, row three. And we are going to preload our zip ties in closed. So there is sets of holes with one hole in between. We are not going to be using this one hole that's in between the two sets of holes. That's for if you're making flower wreaths on the board. You're going to go down and up the hole. So down with the tail and back up. Do your zip tie up till you hear a zip and it's locked. And we are locked and loaded, and there's 8 of them. You're going to preload the 8 holes closed on row 3. Got 8 pieces of 10-inch mesh again. Now, I like to cut them as I'm going so I don't have mesh all over the place. So we need 8. So I got 1, 2, 3. I need 5 more at 10 inches. Are going to cut 4 ribbons of each color, again at 14 inches. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4. And for this one, 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, we are going to dovetail these, fold them in half. Okay, I'm going to fold my ribbons in half and get them ready to go into my wreath. So I've got 4 of the stripes and 4 of the green and red. Okay, we're going to bring our wreath frame over to our working space. And get your, I'm going to be using a clothespin to help me along here. And I'm going to take 1 ribbon and 1 of my mesh. I'm going to fold it just like I folded row 1 in a kerfuffle. Pinch it up the middle, flip it over, grab it, and this rounded piece is going to go into the zip tie just like that. Okay, and I'm going to put a clothespin over it so that I can pinch my ribbon tail, flip it, make sure it's even, and I'm going to put the base of it into the zip tie. Now, if you struggle doing this, you can do 2 zip ties like we did on row 1. Not a problem. Zip ties are a dime a dozen. There we go. And pull tight. Just like that. Now for this particular project, this is basically a filler row because we have quite a large sign going in. We have a big elf head, big elf feet. So you're not going to see too much of the mesh, but we want to see the ribbon tails because that's what makes it really pretty. Alrighty, so just continue the 8 just like that. tails. Okay, look how beautiful this is looking already, and we haven't even added the main star. So the last thing we're going to do is, so we've done row 1, we've done row 3. We are going to put 4 zip ties into row 5. So in the normal holes here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we've preloaded the 4 zip ties. Now we're going to take our mesh, and we got quite a bit left. Now I'm going to cut 4 pieces at 20 inches. And we're not going to be using any tails on this row. So this is just going to be the filler, because we are going to have a big sign. A big sign and a big head. So 2, 3, 4. And we got a little extra to spare. So if you want to cut it 22 inches, go right ahead. You have a little bit extra. Okay, so now we're going to do a kerfuffle. Again, the roll curl up. It's just going to be a bigger one than our 10-inch. Fold the top, fold the bottom down, pinch it right up the middle again. Just makes a bigger ruffle. Again, we are going to fold it inwards, just like that. Don't be scared to scrunch it. And then we're going to stick that right into the zip tie like we did the previous row. Make sure it's in there and zip it up. Now this one may be a little tight because there's a lot of mesh in there. But it's, like I said, it's just a filler. You won't even see it. See how it's filling that spot up? Perfect. And this is a great way if you want to do a wreath like this with an 8-inch sign. Perfect. So it's not too many ribbons, less than a roll of mesh. Get an 8-inch sign, and I have one, say, you just put it like right in there, and it would look stunning. Obviously not that particular sign, but all right, one more. And we're done constructing the wreath, and it's just putting the signs and our elf head on. Oh, didn't make that really quite even. better. All right, put this up. Okay, let's flip this baby over. You can see the back because I want you to be aware of where we're going to be putting our sign, where we're going to be putting our head. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to make a bow and to go on my elf here. Okay, so what you're going to do, you're going to flip it over. Look how nice and neat it is. You would never know that all this was on the front if you looked at the back. Okay, so you're going to find your hanging holes. They're up here at the top, and there's the logo. Straight down is the middle, and across this is the middle. What I've done, right below the hanging holes, there's 2 holes right here. To the left and the right of that hole, I put an H and an H. Now you can mark your board as well, and you can rub it. I just use a Sharpie marker, and you can rub it off with alcohol. But I put the holes for the head. My sign is going to be zip tied here, and then the 2 legs at the bottom. Okay, so right where the head is, the 2 legs are going to go at the bottom, and my sign I'm going to hang from here. So you're going to take your head. Now I'm going to take this top one off. I'm not going to use this top one, so I'm going to take it off, and you just untwist it and just slide it out. I am, however, going to use the 2 bottoms, and these 2 bottom wires is where I'm going to go through the 2 holes. So just open them up slightly. Okay. Flip it over. We're going to go right here. Now, I find sliding my wreath board off the table a little bit really, really helps when you're putting something like this in. You're going to take your 2 wires, and you're just going to feed one wire down one hole and the other wire down the other hole. And that's why I marked the back. You can mark the front too, because there is no mesh or ribbons in those 2 holes, okay? So you can just lift the mesh up and you can see it quite clearly. So down, just pull it a bit. Don't tighten it, just give it 1 or 2 twists on the back until you get your other one on. And there's the holes right there. Yep. And then I'm just going to go down with those 2 wires. Move our pretty ribbon out of the way so it doesn't get squished. So 1. And when I flip the board over, you'll see exactly where I put. There we go. So let's just give it a little bit of a tug till you feel some resistance and give it a twist. Again, same thing, little resistance and give it a twist. And our cute elf is on the board. Now we don't want to squish them in there too much. And the hat is wired. So you can move his hat out or however you want. Okay, next we're going to do our sign. Now, you can use cable mounts on the back and put a cable mount right in the center and with a E6000 or hot glue or Gorilla Glue with a cable mount and a pipe cleaner. And it was around here somewhere. Oh, here it is. I'm just going to be using the string. However, I'm going to show, actually I'll show with the string and with the cable mount. So I use the string sometimes, so if people don't have hot glue or whatever. So I'm taking the padding off this cable mount, peeling it right off, because I want direct contact with the back of the sign and the actual cable mount. Okay. Then I'm going to slide my pipe cleaner through the side holes here. Okay. And we are going to hot glue it right in the middle of your sign. I like to use hot glue and super glue at the same time. So the hot glue will put it the hot glue would do it temporarily, and then the super glue will stick it on there for good. So I'm waiting for my hot glue gun to heat up. While I'm waiting for that, let's do the legs. Okay, the legs are also wired. Now they're fairly long. These legs are fairly long, and I'm not sure if I want my legs that long. If you put it down here, I think it looks a little bit funny with it so long. So what I was thinking of doing is on the back I'm going to be using these two holes right there on the back, and there is no mesh there. What I was thinking of doing is cutting some of this wire off and just zip tying my actual legs to the board. So I'm not even going to feed the wire through the back. Okay, I cut some of this off, and I want to, I'll go down and up. So there's the hole I'm going to use. Down and up. Make sure. There it is. I can do the other one. Just slide it back down and up. Oop. There's mesh there. There we go. I'm going to take this leg and part ways here so I can see my zip tie here. I'm going to put the leg up. See how far up I've got it? And that way, and it's in between. So there's my zip tie. I'm going to put my leg up in here, but it's in between the ribbon here. So on row 1. So it looks like it's going to be coming out of the mesh. I really like that much better, and it's much easier to attach. So I'm just going to do the zip tie around the leg. Pull it tight. So if you have needle nose pliers, you might want to pull that tight. If you have one of these wire nippers, if you don't squeeze really hard, you can pull it tight and then cut that off. And then we're going to tuck all that back over top. So it looks like the leg is coming out of the wreath. I think that looks so much better than having this big long leg. So we're going to do the same for the other leg. See how long it is? If I did it like that, it would be coming out way out like this, and I don't want that. So I'm just going to cut the two top wires off again. Okay, and these are garbage. Make sure your feet are going the right way. We are going to look for that zip tie. There it is. Right there. Again. going to go through, put the leg in to your wreath, and check to make sure your legs are about the same size, or the length, I mean. There we go. And then zip tie the leg around. There we go. We've attached that leg with no wire. I love it. And I'm sure we can attach the hat the exact same way. And then bring all this back down. There. That is super cute. His legs are coming out of the wreath. Fix these tails. Alrighty, we are almost done. Look how cute he's gonna be. Now, let's get back to the sign. Again, now, if you want to use, you can lift up and you can tuck in. I probably should have did the... Oh, I marked the sign wrong. We're gonna go up here with the sign if you're not using a cable mount. So right below the hanging holes. And it's underneath the hat. And then you can take your string, find your zip tie, do your zip tie up, and then your sign is perfectly centered with the rope, and you won't see the rope. Okay, or we're going to take the string off, so I'm going to cut this off, and we're going to use the cable mount. So I'm going to use some hot glue and some super glue. Hot glue the side there, and then I super glue the top and the bottom and the middle. And we want to put that, now you may want to measure, I'm just going to guesstimate the center. Just hold it till it's dry. And then we are just going to go down with our pipe cleaners down the center hole there. So in the middle of the board, two holes right in the center. Those are where I'm going to go with these two pipe cleaners. Again, if you slide your board off the table, it goes. Flip it over. See, we're in the center. Give it a twist. Cut these pipe cleaners down a bit and go back down the hole. Now you can add glue. You can pump some glue onto the back of your sign to the mesh to make it more stable. I'm going to loosen my hat just a little bit. I want my hat to sit just above the sign, right like that. Okay, and then loosen this side just a little bit. There we go. I want his head to go kind of right above the sign there. Perfect. Still see all our pretty ribbon tails. Okay, we're going to flip this over again. And now we're going to cut off these wires from the wreath attachment and go back down the hole. So you don't want anything sharp on the back of your wreath. To scratch the door, but even more you don't want anybody getting cut. There we go. Now you can put a little bit of hot glue over top of this to soften it so it's not so, not pointy, rough here, rough, like we don't want. I'm going to, while I have it flipped over, I'm going to put a hanging zip tie. So I go down one hole, back up the other, and do this zip tie up. And that's my hanger to hang this bad boy on. All right. Once I get all the ribbons straightened, I probably will put a touch of hot glue in behind the hat and in behind the sign. And I'm going to make a small bow to go right here. And this is pretty big. So let's get our 2 ribbons. I am going to, we don't need a huge bow. Let's see how long we should make our tails. A 10-inch tail. Now, if you have a bow maker, please use your bow maker. It's a lot easier. If not, I'm going to show you how to make a really quick cheater bow. Okay, so what we're going to do is cut this ribbon at 20 inches. Okay, and this is going, we're going to fold this over. This is going to be our tail. Okay, so just bring it down like that. Then we're going to make loops. Let's see how big. That's good. Cut a piece, again, about 20 inches. So 20 and 20. You're going to take, let's find the halfway mark. Again, if you have a bow maker, you can use your bow maker. So what I'm going to do is take a little bit of hot glue and just a little past that halfway mark, I put a little bead of glue, and then I'll do it again. Okay. And that's going to go with that. And we're going to do the same with the green. So I'm going to do a 20-inch piece of green, or green and red, and another 20-inch piece of green and red. And this is going to be our tail. And then again, we're going to fold this in half. Just a little past the halfway mark. Put a little bead of glue. Glue that down. Another bead of glue. And we have our loops there. I'm going to take a zip tie. And we're going to layer this bow. So take your 2 tails. We can dovetail these to make it look pretty. Or you can cut them on a slant. It's up to you. We'll do the same with the green. Put these on top of each other. And you're going to put your bow on top with the seam side down. So we're going to do the striped one first. And then the red and green. Take your zip tie, slide it under. And I'm putting the loop part just over top of the tail, because when we zip tie it together, it's going to look like one piece. Okay, I'm going to flip this over. So this is what I got. Flip it over. Bring the zip tie head to the back. And we're going to put another zip tie right underneath so we can attach it, or even better is a pipe cleaner. Yeah, we'll use a pipe cleaner. It's a little easier. You can slide the pipe cleaner right under. Okay, and then pinch this center and do the zip tie up. Okay, so this is what you got. Pretty cute little bow. Let's cut the zip tie tail off the back, and we'll fluff this bad boy when we get it onto the wreath. And we're almost done. Last step. And you still got quite a bit of ribbon left. Not bad. Looks like a pretty, really full, pretty wreath. You would never know you didn't use a lot of supplies on it. Okay, so I'm going to put my bow right about here. So I'm just going to go down and see where that tail is. There's a right in the center there. I'm going to go down, even though there's a zip tie there. I'm just going to go down those two holes with my pipe cleaner for my bow. Lift the board up, pull it down. Now don't pull your bow right down to the board, because if you pull it right down to the board, this happens and you get squished, like it'll pucker. We don't want a puckered bow. I'm just going to pull until the bow reaches the mesh and twist it on the back. Now I have to adjust it. I can. Okay, we'll pull these tails. And you can yank on it pretty good. So you want to make sure these are nice. We'll go around and fix all our other tails. And then we're going to open our loops. Now you do have enough ribbon if you wanted to make a double looped, but you don't want too much going on in your wreath. And this little bow just kind of fills that little spot there. And I am just going to glue a little ornament, I think, right to the center there of my bow. Move that up just a bit. There we go. Excuse me, dear. A little red bobble. You can put some ribbon, glue some ribbon just over. And maybe that's what I'll do, since you guys may not have a bobble. I'm just going to take a piece of ribbon. It's probably easier if I did this when the bow was not in the wreath, but take a piece of ribbon. We're going to fold it over. Put some hot glue on the center here. Put this on, and we're just going to wrap it. That's probably easier than the bobble. There we go. And nobody would know you cheated and used hot glue to make your bow. Alrighty, now I'm going to just take some hot glue and hot glue all my stuff in. But first I want to make sure all my tails are out the way I want them. Oh my gosh, this is so cute. That looks good. I'm going to take some hot glue. I'm just going to pump a little bit back there, kind of press down a bit so it's on the mesh and the ribbon, so it's just glued a little bit there. Because don't forget, it is secured with the pipe cleaner. And then same with the hat. Although the hat's secured on there pretty good. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on just on the back of my hat. And I want my sign just below the hat. So I want to make sure maybe that both are together. So I'm just going to put a bead of glue right at the bottom of the hat. So when I push it down, it's going to get glued to the top of the sign as well. Fix his cute ears. There we go. Oh my gosh, this is cute. Now I'm going to flip this over and cut this pipe cleaner off and back down again. So we have a nice clean back and nothing scratching. Alrighty, and now you can put some hot glue in the hole here to keep those pipe cleaners down. And you can put some hot glue over top of these wires just to make like a bumper. There we go. And we're done. Let that dry. There's the back of our wreath. Super, super cute. And there's all the magic in the front. Super, super cute. Oh, I pushed my bow in too much. Alrighty, there we go. Dear Santa, define naughty. Now you can move his legs if you want. Kind of cute like that. All right. Well, thanks for joining me. And I can't wait to see your elf define naughty wreath. Thanks for joining me, everybody. Bye.